Welcome back, Squirtle Squad! Professor Oran here. My cool black sunglasses are on and I'm ready to surf the waves of Pokémon lore. The research continues as we discover the similarities between our world and all existing Pokémon. We're now at the final of the original 3 starter Pokémon, which leads me to ask, what kind of animals is the Squirtle family based on? Why do some have luscious locks? And why does one have military-grade weapons attached to its back? From a cute little blue potato to an industrial war machine, let's discover what the Squirtle family is in real life. As most of you in the last 28 years may have guessed, Squirtle is a combination of the words squirt and turtle, alluding to the fact that this Pokémon is a species of turtle that shoots water. Although I do recall some kids thinking its curly tail meant it was half squirrel, half turtle, but we'll debunk that playground myth later. In Japanese, Squirtle's name is Zenigame, which is a combination of the words Zeni, meaning money or coins, and Kame, meaning turtle or tortoise. Strangely enough, this translates to pond turtle, because back during the Edo Period, pond turtles' round shells were used as a form of currency and were often referred to as money turtles. Thankfully for turtles, this practice has died out. War turtle's English name is pretty straightforward as it's a combination of war, tortoise, and turtle. However, in Japanese, it is known as Kamaru, with Kame again meaning turtle, and Eru meaning the verb to earn, acquire, or win. So it's quite fitting in the context of Pokémon where the goal is gotta catch 'em all. In this case, we can just say gotta acquire all the turtles. In both English and Japanese, Blastoise is 2 words shells smashed together. In English, it's blast, like an explosion from a cannon, combined with tortoise. In Japanese, its name, Kamekutsu, combines meku, meaning mech, referring to giant robots popular in anime. When put after Kame, it perfectly describes Blastoise with its water cannons projecting from its shell, like a mechanized battle turtle. I think we actually got a pretty direct translation for once. But there is more to the Squirtle family lore than just its name origins. Remember the curly tail of Squirtle and how some thought it was related to a squirrel? Well, the tail is important, but not because it's squirrely. In reality, Squirtle and Wartortle are based on a creature from Japanese folklore called a Minogame. These are mythical turtle-like beings believed to live for thousands of years. Minogame possess a long tail made of algae and seaweed that grows longer as it ages. Since Squirtle is relatively just a baby, it has a short, fluffy tail. However, when it evolves into Wartortle, it gets longer, luscious locks and resembles a Minogame. This is further proven with Wartortle's Pokédex entry in Pokémon Gold, which states, it is recognized as a symbol of longevity. If its shell has algae on it, that Wartortle is very old, and it is said to live 10,000 years. Its furry tail is popular as a symbol of longevity from many of the newer game titles. But why does this folklore reference stop at Wartortle and not continue to the next evolution? I always thought it was a little odd that Wartortle's luxurious hair just disappeared in the final evolution, but we now have an idea why. In 2019, some beta designs of many Pokémon sprites that never made it into the final games were leaked to the public. The sprites implied that Wartortle was meant to evolve into an older aged turtle with long fur just like an ancient Minogame. We also learned that Blastoise was the final evolution from a completely different line altogether. It is unknown why this was changed at the last second, but if I'm not taking wild guesses, what kind of professor am I? So back in 1982, we went from measly little finger water guns to the creation of the Super Soaker that was invented by NASA engineer Lonnie Johnson. The innovative design used pressurized air to force water out in a powerful stream, essentially making Blastoises out of children everywhere. The Super Soaker was one of the most popular toys of the 1990s, and as the years went on, the design evolved and increased its power. My guess is that due to the popularity of Super Soakers in the United States, the Pokémon Company decided to rebrand one of the starter Pokémon with something that children were already obsessed with. I can already hear the conversation in the Pokémon boardroom being like, if kids like water guns, wait until they see this giant turtle with Super Soakers coming out of its shell. Speaking of Super Soakers, water gun that subscribe button. Now, according to my records, there are no turtles that actually have water guns on their backs. But let's see which real animals share the most resemblance to the Squirtle family anyways. Although there doesn't seem to be any that are naturally blue, we all know the Squirtle family is based on turtles. We see it in their names, their folklore, and their very obvious design. But did you know that there are over 350 species of turtles on Earth? The 13 families of turtles include tortoises, soft-shelled turtles, pond turtles, snapping turtles, sea turtles, and more. They inhabit most continents, various islands, and the open oceans. They're practically everywhere. Biology fun fact: all tortoises are turtles, but not all turtles are tortoises. So you might be thinking, if tortoises are turtles, why can't I just call every turtle-like creature a turtle and be done with it? Well, the main reason is because if you get it wrong, then some Gary O type of guy is going to make fun of your biology knowledge, and we simply can't have that. So while we could spend days talking about all these species of turtles and their nuances, let's break down a select few that I think are most important regarding Squirtles. The first is the sea turtles, who love their oceanic habitats. A common misconception is that Squirtles are sea turtles because they are blue in photographs. But I'll show you why that's not the case. Sea turtles have adapted to life underwater, have paddle-shaped front legs, and web-backed feet that are efficient for aquatic movement. Their shells are also thinner and more streamlined, which help them move well underwater. They even possess tear glands to eliminate excess salt. As omnivores, sea turtles eat both plants and animals such as algae, jellyfish, fish, and crustaceans. Crabby, watch out! The largest of this group is the leatherback sea turtle, which has an average length of 5 feet and can weigh anywhere between 400 to 1,500 pounds. It's easily distinguished by the lack of a bony shell, which is replaced by a leathery back, hence the name. Unlike other turtles, sea turtles are unable to retract their necks into their shells. We know Squirtle loves to withdraw into that round shell. This certainly isn't the right turtle, but what is? The next group of turtles is tortoises. They've adapted to a wide range of habitats from dry deserts to tropical forests. Unlike sea turtles, the only water they need is for drinking and bathing. Their well-developed legs are perfect for walking on land and supporting their weight far more than the webbed legs of sea turtles. Tortoises are almost always herbivorous, and their shells are more rounded compared to the flatter shells of sea turtles. The most important thing to remember about tortoises is that they are exclusively land creatures. One similarity between tortoises and sea turtles is that they can grow quite large and live for a very long time. Just like in the legends, giant tortoises exist in the Galapagos, Indian Ocean Islands, and Seychelles. They can weigh as much as 900 pounds and can grow to be 4 feet in length. The oldest known living tortoise, who is also the oldest living terrestrial animal in the world, is a tortoise named Jonathan, who is a Seychelles giant tortoise. Take a guess how old he is. He's 191 years old as of 2024. Talk about a living legend. Although war turtle is said to live 10,000 years, we know that they also enjoy living in water, so we're getting closer. The last group of interest is the pond turtles. These friends are kind of a combination of the previous two turtles, as they are semi-aquatic. Pond turtles live in fresh or slightly salty water near rivers, ponds, and lakes. They enjoy swimming but also spend time on land basking in the sun and burrowing in mud. I'm pretty sure I've seen a basking blastoise before. Their shells are streamlined and slightly domed, and they have legs similar to tortoises so they can still move across the land with ease, and they're faster than you'd think. Some pond turtles are aggressive, like the snapping turtle, who is capable of biting off fingers. I knew bite attack was strong, but not that strong. Some classic examples of pond turtles are spotted turtles, painted turtles, map turtles, and red-eared sliders. There's also one endemic to Japan, meaning it's found there and nowhere else. The Japanese pond turtle is a medium-sized turtle that has an olive to dark brown carapace and a striking yellow plastron with dark markings. In other words, the top and bottom of the shell perfectly matches Squirtle's. Fun animal fact: turtles, tortoises, and pond turtles cannot crawl out of their shell like a hermit crab. Their shells are permanently attached to their spine and rib cage. These reptile shells are unlike claws, nails, horns, and beaks, since they contain nerves. The shells are very receptive to touch, and turtles can feel the pressure of weight and will experience pain if their shell is broken or cracked. So watch where you step to avoid our Squirtle friends. So if you had to guess, which one of these three groups of turtles do you think the Squirtle family is based on? Sea turtles, tortoises, or pond turtles? since they live on both land and in water, have retractable necks, have robust limbs for walking instead of flippers, have pointed snouts, round shells, and digits on their hands, well, I think we have a good idea. But before we find out, hydro pump that subscribe button. Who's that Pokémon? It's a Japanese pond turtle, a pond turtle that has magical seaweed hair, and a pond turtle that loves super soakers. It's the Squirtle family in real life. In Japanese culture, the turtle holds a special place as a symbol of longevity and good fortune, as we saw in the legend of the Zenigame. The Japanese pond turtle, in particular, is often celebrated in local folklore and traditional art, where it is depicted as a creature of wisdom and endurance. It's no wonder that they based one of the starter Pokémon on such an important animal from their backyard. If you like learning about these reptiles, make sure you didn't miss the last episode on the fire lizard, Charizard.